agreeing to do the interview, the documentary. If you don't mind, each one of you give your name and spell it out so we can have it for the video.
Yeah, sure. I'm Joseph Ryan, R-Y-A-N.
Alex Cohen, Alexcohen.
Amber Duvall, AMBERDUVALL.
Scott Godding, SCOTTGODING.
And I don't need to know your exact ages. Are you guys in your 20s, 30s?
29.
29.
So, are you guys from St. Louis? Are you from surrounding area? All of you?
From St.
Louis.
So, what first got you involved with this issue? What made you aware to get involved?
Well, just hanging out with these guys for the most part and hearing about Westlake landfill through the media, and then also having friends that are really involved in the activism.
They decided to come hang out right there.
So what do you guys start one at a time? What do you ultimately want to see happening out at Westlake?
Yeah, sure. Well, what I want to see happen is that full responsibility is taken for the matter that people that are living in Bridgeton are being affected like no other with the levels of radioactive waste happening. So what I want is for full removal of the waste. I want them to start answering our questions too with the threats that the underground fire is posing and how close that is to catching to this radioactive waste. So what I want is solutions happening yesterday.
Yeah, and just to answer the first question really quick, so I found about this issue about 3 years ago through Just Moms STL and got involved. Dawn and Karen and all the moms at Just Moms STL have been doing hard work and promoting this, and I found out about the original record of decision about 3 years ago where there was an EPA meeting and mass numbers showed up to that meeting, and that's when I first got activated on Westlake, and ever since then, through doing more research and studying more about it and talking to more moms and more sick people from this waste, you just keep getting more and more pissed as you see how deep the corruption is rooted in St. Louis, and it's never ending. And so ultimately we need this waste to be removed from the landfill. It should have never been there in the first place. It was dumped there illegally 44 years ago. It should have been when it was sold by the government to a private corporation. It shouldn't have been dumped there. It should have been taken to its proper storage facilities, and that's what we need to see happen. Ideally, we need to stop immediately creating radioactive waste and nuclear production because this shit does not go anywhere. It gets more radioactive as it exists, and we're put in positions like Westlake where the best thing we can do is put it in a better storage container. It shouldn't be in the floodplain, it shouldn't be in the middle of a residential neighborhood, it shouldn't be next to an airport, and it shouldn't be next to a burning underground fire, and it shouldn't be next to the Missouri River contaminating groundwater. So we need federal legislation. If the EPA was going to do anything that was in the favor of this community, they would have done it over the past 27 years, and they haven't done it. So quite frankly, everyone in this community is sick of the EPA, and for all I care, they can see their way out of this community. We need the Corps of Engineers to come in immediately. It's apparent that the EPA is in bed with Republic Services, and they're making backdoor deals, allowing Republic to have their own scientist come in, and then allowing that to be the facts that we use, and not letting private people come in and do our own investigations. So we really need this. We need full removal of the waste at Westlake Landfill. We need accountability. MDNR needs to step up its game when it comes to this underground fire. Republic says it's going to burn for another decade at least. So even if this waste is removed, we're still dealing with the stench of this chemical fire for years and years to come. We need a buyout for people 1 mile from the fence of the landfill as the crow flies, and we need property assurance for people 5 miles from the landfill fence as the crow flies.
So what is each one of you background? Do you have a science background, or is this something that just?
I have my bachelor's degree in. I have my bachelor's degree in biology. I am actually just passionate about the issue, but I do have a bit of a science background.
So how far? It doesn't seem like this is moving pretty slowly. It's not going as fast. Were you guys part of the group that a few weeks ago that chained themselves in front of? I mean, that some would consider that pretty radical. Are you guys willing to go even farther than that?
Yeah, so,
Absolutely.
yeah, that was a launch of a nonviolent civil disobedience campaign. Republic Services and our elected officials haven't seen anything yet. We continue to launch up our campaign and continue a series of attacks on the responsible parties. We're going to continue to do everything possible to put our nonviolent bodies in the way of their violence against this earth and their violence against this community. And while our actions of putting ourselves in barrels in front of this desecration may seem crazy to some, there's absolutely nothing crazier than what's been allowed to happen at this landfill for 44 years. There's nothing more crazy that we were arrested on that day, yet Republic Services owes $55 million to the state for its illegal landfill, and those people still walk free every single day. So that was definitely just the start. As outrageous as this site is, it's going to take us to, play their games, take their money, and speak their language, and we will do that till our demands are met.
Are there any, if you wanted to vote them, are there any tactics beyond what you did before that you're willing to do or going to do?
So we're gonna, we believe in nonviolent civil disobedience and direct action, and we practice nonviolent civil disobedience, and that is a broad umbrella of nonviolence. And luckily, leaders in the past have paved the way and left us many guidelines and ideas on how we continue our campaign and make it effective, and be able to change and negotiate or change our ways to keep up with the corporate killer, Republic Services.
Now, a lot of times in activism, what really makes it successful is when you have the public behind you and everything. Do you guys feel that you have the public? I mean, I know everybody's against waste and landfill and all that, but do you think that you guys have the public behind you from the tactics that you use?
Yes, I can say that, and specifically this woman who has cancer as a result of exposure to this radioactive waste was on her deathbed watching our barrel action at the landfill. And she was able, she said, to pass easily and better knowing that someone put their body in the way of her killer. And then we did an action in honor of her life and all those lives taken by this landfill and this waste at Claire McCaskill's office. And we continue to gain the support of the community. And I know that our elected officials and Republic Services, fake coalition to keep us safe, are definitely feeling the pressure.
What do you say to people who say that Democratic Party, Democratic politicians are probably favorable to your position, and that it may be counterproductive that you're protesting Claire McCaskill and Democrats because they're probably with you and you're hurting your cause?
So this is definitely not a Democrat or Republican issue by any means. We've actually seen kind of the most communication and action come from Roy Blunt, a Republican, in the Senate. And so Lacey Clay actually just recently forgot to communicate with the moms who've been fighting this landfill for 7 months until our action took place 2 weeks ago. So this is a nonpartisan issue, just as I believe no issues are partisan. I believe they're all part of the same broken system, and they're all a target if our community is still being sick as a result of their inaction.
Now, some may ask, are you guys professional protesters? Is someone else funding your organization or funding you, or is this just grassroots activism?
Yeah, this is 100% grassroots. I get this a lot. You're a professional protester, you're paid. If you call me professional, I'll take that as a compliment, because the system that is oppressing us is very professional, and we need to act professionally and sophisticatedly to tear it down. So if you want to call me professional protester, well, thank you. And we are certainly not paid, though. And if you would like to make a donation, though, you can at Earth Defense Coalition.
Do each one of you guys work? Do you have a...
Alex and I are co-founders of Earth Defense Coalition, which is basically a civil disobedience, a group of individuals willing to put their bodies, minds, and spirits in the way of oppression.
Are you employed?
No.
Are you employed?
I am.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's all we got. Guys, I appreciate your time.
Thanks.